Vintage meets rustic elegance. Cozy Grandmacore Cottage decorating ideas for a charming home retreat. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Vintage and Rustic, where I'm David, your guide through the world of charming, time-worn beauty and rustic elegance. Today we're stepping into a world that feels like a warm hug from the past, a cozy Grandmacore cottage filled with timeless charm and nostalgic touches. I've always believed that our homes should tell stories of who we are, where we've been, and what brings us comfort. Grandmacore design is just that, a heartfelt celebration of the past, layered with rustic touches that make a space feel grounded, earthy, and welcoming. In this episode, we'll explore decorating ideas that blend vintage treasures with rustic cottage aesthetics to create a retreat that soothes the soul. If you love ruffled curtains, embroidered linens, floral wallpaper, time-worn furniture, and the gentle glow of antique lighting, you're in the right place. We'll talk about cozy elements like patchwork quilts, vintage teacups, lace doilies, and farmhouse shells that evoke simpler times. There's something so peaceful about mixing weathered woods, chipped paint, and soft floral fabrics with handmade crafts, wicker baskets, and heirloom decor. So settle in, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let's take a slow, gentle journey through a cottage where vintage meets rustic elegance in the most heartwarming ways. One of the most inviting ways to bring Grandmacore charm into your cottage is by layering textures and patterns. Think of your favorite childhood memories. Maybe it's the crocheted afghans your grandmother made, or the floral chintz armchair that always had a soft throw draped over it. Bringing that nostalgic comfort into your space can start with the soft furnishings: ruffled bed linens, gingham tablecloths, hand-stitched cushions, and gently faded area rugs. Don't be afraid to mix prints. That's part of the charm. Pair a rosebud print with plaid or a toile pattern with a vintage check. Add in a few needlepoint pillows and you've created a story on your sofa. Rustic elegance comes through in the use of aged woods. Think distressed coffee tables, beadboard paneling, or a worn sideboard painted in Now let's talk about the heart of the home, the kitchen. In a Grandmacore Cottage, the kitchen isn't just a place to cook. It's a place where stories are passed down, pies are baked with love, and every drawer holds a memory. Open shelving is a signature element, perfect for displaying mismatched china, vintage mixing bowls, glass jars filled with pantry staples, and antique kitchen scales. Hang your cast iron pans proudly on the wall and let those copper kettles shine in the window light. Even a small kitchen can feel Grandmacore when you bring in touches like embroidered tea towels, gingham curtains, and a little vase of daisies on the windowsill. If you can find a vintage butcher block or a farmhouse table with spindle legs, that's a perfect anchor piece. Add rustic woven baskets for storage and tuck in some lace-trimmed linens for a cozy, collected-over-time look. Don't forget the importance of lighting. A simple pendant lamp with a soft, warm bulb or a vintage oil lamp on the counter makes the entire room glow with warmth. Whether your kitchen is large or little, these Grandmacore touches bring a sense of home and heart to every corner. Living spaces in a Grandmacore-inspired cottage should be full of comfort, charm, and quiet beauty. Picture a cozy corner with an overstuffed armchair, a crocheted throw, and a small wooden side table stacked with classic novels and an old ceramic lamp. Add a vase of fresh wildflowers or dried hydrangeas, and the scene is complete. Your living room should feel like a sanctuary, not just for you, but for every guest who walks through the door. Incorporate family photos in vintage frames, a mix of candlesticks with beeswax tapers, and shelves of well-loved books. Rustic Elegance comes in with exposed wooden beams, brick fireplaces, reclaimed wood mantels, and old trunks repurposed as coffee tables. Use color palettes that calm: soft greens, buttery yellows, creamy whites, and dusty rose tones all work beautifully. Add texture with chunky knit throws, jute rugs, and linen curtains. And always keep an eye out for vintage finds. An old birdcage, a spindleback chair, or a wicker basket from the flea market can become the centerpiece of your space. The goal is to In conclusion, creating a cozy Grandmacore retreat filled with vintage and rustic charm is about more than decor. It's about emotion, comfort, and slowing down to appreciate the simple things. It's about bringing the past into the present in a way that feels grounding and tender. Whether you're starting from scratch or just adding touches here and there, remember that this style isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Every cracked teacup, every hand-knit blanket, every faded wallpapered wall tells a story. When you walk into a Grandmacore cottage, you don't just see beauty, you feel it. The warmth, the softness, the sense of being surrounded by love. That's what makes it special. Your home becomes a retreat, not because it's So as we wrap up today's cozy adventure, I want to thank you for joining me on Vintage and Rustic. I hope this journey through Grandmacore Cottage style has inspired you to embrace the elegance of the past and the rustic beauty of the countryside in your own home. If this kind of content brings you comfort and ideas, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe, leave a comment, and share your favorite part of today's tour. Remember, there's no right or wrong